to Chile. Last week we saw Turkey. Today we are going to all the way to South America. And the presenting today is Dr. Marcelo Mena. He's a visiting Fulbright scholar with the Department of Earth and Environmental Science here at Fresno State. So we're not going to waste any more time and we'll give the floor now to Dr. Mena to go on with the presentation.
And this one was the first one constructed in the year 2000, called El Tribal, and this treats around 1.6 million people's water. And the second one is this is the 5th biggest wastewater treatment plant in the world, and it's expanded even more now than the 342 maximum million gallons per day treatment. This is around 2.5 to 3 million people's wastewater. And some of the interesting things here: you treat the water. Here you collect the sludge. The sludge is digested, generating methane. And since we are in an energy shortage, some of this methane is scrubbed and used for our for natural gas for the houses. And some of that stuff you can see in the U.S. too. But I think we've come a long way from the days in which we would just let that methane just go to waste. So obviously that's something. Now here's the main thing with Chile and what we're worried about is that right now we've always had the maximum demand and the installed capacity to be very, very close. So then we're always on the verge of maybe having power outage. And so this would be all right. You know, we're all here because we have more installed capacity than the demand. But the problem is that we are projected to almost triple our energy demand in the future, and that is intimately related to copper. Because economies such as the U.S. economy, or even the California economy, the gross domestic product does not grow as fast as your energy use. In fact, the gross domestic product for California, for example, has grown faster, much faster than the per capita energy use. And we're not. We're just going. If our economy grows 7%, our energy demand grows 7%. And the reason is because we have energy-intensive products such as copper and other metals that require a lot of energy to produce them. And first thing they do is that they want to put 3 power plants, huge power plants, in right by where there's a penguin reserve. Now, I don't know why you would want to do that, right? Because it's going to affect, roughly 90% of the penguins, specific species live there, and you want to put 3 power plants right there. So it doesn't seem that's a good idea. So these guys, Chao Pescado, you can look them up. They made a documentary. They got a whole bunch of different actors and stuff, and they called on President Piñera. We have a new president. First time we've elected a right-wing president since 1958. Since 1958, we hadn't won. First time Pinochet left power, and we had center left-wing social democrats for many years, and then all of a sudden Chile's economy had grown so much, and everybody had aspirational, felt that they could do better, and they're like, okay, we're going for a right-wing president. This right-wing president had in his campaign says, I'm against coal-fired power plants. He said it specifically. And they asked him about this project. He's like, I oppose that project. So they approved the project, and there's a large public outcry to have him intervene and see him fulfill his campaign promise. I intervened myself because I sort of laid out the environmental regulations on CNN and other things, and it was his call, and he could, if he wanted, to stop that project. It wasn't something inevitable. And he called, this is because he's a millionaire, he called the president of Swiss. He's like, hey, could you guys desist? And they did. And so some of the purists said it was a shame, it was just a scandal because it was an intervention against our environmental regulations overall. We didn't let the system work. But I don't know, I don't care. We have one less power plant to fight. So these years, you would come home and you would have a blackened white collar because of the pollution. We got rid of the old buses. We banned the new non-peddling cars. We banned used cars. You can't buy a used car coming from another market in Chile. It has to be new. the internal used car market is just from the ones that have been bought and sold in Chile as a new car. So we asked the European manufacturers and the American manufacturers not to send us their bad cars, but actually send them the one with good emission standards. In fact, we actually adopt for our new cars, we have a lot of the California emission standards to be working right now. And that's a good thing, because when California lags, then we feel the suffering. Because if California didn't do it, there's really no argument for us to say, let's do this. California didn't do it. We got rid of sulfur and diesel, and when you get rid of sulfur and diesel, that means you can put particulate filters in the diesel cars. Otherwise, they'll be corroded. We got our natural gas, so we're growing great, right? We're just getting rid of all the gross polluters. And then right here, we started having the problem with gas with Argentina, so we're sort of stuck here, and it went up here, and so everybody's really mad at the government because of this, even though the trend is overall positive.
Yeah, I didn't see nuclear power at all in the equation for Chile's power production. Can you tell me the analysis of how Chile did not go into nuclear power?
Yeah, they thought about it. Right now they're thinking about it strongly. There's a committee by President Bachelet before Mena, and they're looking into nuclear. Then Obama was in Chile last week. With his good timing, they signed a nuclear agreement right after the Japan thing, so it wasn't very good for anybody, right? It's not a good moment to talk about nuclear. If you ask me, though, I prefer nuclear than coal. But that's, if you look at how many people coal has killed versus nuclear has killed, and that's how I see things just by numbers. Coal is way more dangerous right now. But of course, time will tell what happens in Japan. So I don't think we should rush to any conclusions.
Before I came, I would have guessed that Chile had very little pollution problems. I mean, that is the perception you have. You look afar, all that greenery, very few people. And now I'm hearing you're worse than Fresno. That's not a good thing. Has Fresno gotten better, or is, come on, give us some good news here.
No, everybody's getting better. Everybody's getting better. I'm just trying, but I need to keep my job and keep people worried. but overall, everybody's getting better. I mean, you saw that we reduced emission PM by almost 70% in 20 years. That's a great job. The thing is, the take-home message here is that if you have no controls, you could get bad air pretty fast. It happens in India, China. You don't have to have it doesn't have to be a big city. The worst air quality in Chile is Temuco, which is in the south, and it's just all wood-burning stoves. We're talking, I do homework with my students here at Fresno State. I give them that data. They can't believe some of the values, but it's all about wood burning. And so the thing is, it's not about banning it, because in a place in the south of Chile, you can't ban wood burning because people would think you're crazy, but address the issue. So I think our biggest challenge overall is how we can heat homes without poisoning our children. That's pretty much the main challenge right now. And this happens, mirror image with the U.S., Scottsdale, Fresno, pretty much it's all, even San Francisco doesn't have bad air quality days, but for example, all of Oregon, Seattle, it's all about wood burning. Pretty much, you can do a lot of things about cars that can be pretty clean, and they're overall much cleaner than other sources. Just to compare, 1 day of wood burning stove heating is equivalent to roughly 3 years of car driving. So that's why I'm sort of passionate about that, because to me, I just look at the numbers and there's no fudging those numbers. I mean, it's very clear. Any questions?
I know Brazil had large ethanol production and such. Is there any hope in that type of renewable fuels being used? Is there any advantage for that to be used in Chile?
So the ethanol would be used for cars and replacement of gasoline. gasoline and ethanol, there's some studies that show may be worse. Stanford professor Mark Jacobson wrote a paper on what happened in the U.S. He had 20% ethanol or 80% ethanol, and it was, and in fact, the health effects are actually worse. Now, but in terms of like the overall benefits, I'm doing a study with people at UC Merced, and we're seeing that the emissions for the agricultural burning from the Brazilian sugarcane ethanol might be actually worse also. So in the end, you know, the oil companies were right. No, what I think is really have to go to is not get rid of the, we have to get away from the liquid fuels and actually go into electric transportation is probably the best bet for the medium term. Heating, insulation. I mean, the best thing to do is to decrease the demand of heat. And I see here in Fresno, even the houses aren't very well insulated. I got a PhD at Iowa, so you can see that it's a common thing. How do we keep insulated houses so we don't need as much energy to heat them up, and that will get the air quality.
Okay, now, sorry about that. I guess we're not being too good.
I mean, I'll be okay.
Yeah, we can ask the document after this. You can talk with him if you have some other questions. So right now we'll call for the number two.
Thanks so much.
Okay, thank you all for coming. Next week we are going to have a change in our program for what we have to do review. We will not be looking at Yemen, but instead we'll be going all the way back to Europe to look at Norway traditions of exploration. The presenter of the Andreas Story Quiz on the back day is going to give us a presentation next week. So I look forward to seeing all of you next week, and thank you for coming.
And your face doing that.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Mena.